All right, so here's the finished product. We got the 12 volt conversion done on this tractor. We got the alternator here. We just modified the old generator bracket. Had a buddy over last night and helped me get, this was actually out of line a little bit. Now it's in line better. I don't know if you can see that or not, but thought this was going to be a one-wire alternator. Turns out we had to run this terminal here off of the ignition switch, but that's all right, no big deal. The battery wire actually goes right to the battery. We ran it right into the cables I have. I had these extra wires off of the battery terminal, so we just ran it into that. Keeps it nice and clean. And we also did some of the same over there. We thought we needed a ground wire there. I may take that off, I may not, I don't know. It's not hurting anything. But we don't need it grounded. Figured out it is grounding through that bracket all right. Had to replace, to do the 12 volt conversion, had to replace the gauge. I decided to go with a voltage gauge, just because there's going to be so little power draw on this thing that an ammeter is next to worthless. So if we turn this on, you see it jumps right up there to about 13 volts, about what it's supposed to be. I had to replace the headlight switch there. And the new volt gauge is lighted too. It's kind of nice. But it'll start right up, no problem. Make sure we're neutral here. Just no problem at all. Got a forget what battery it was. 58S battery. You probably can't read that. It's 500 cold cranking amps, more than enough to crank over this 4-cylinder engine. It's got all new battery cables, all new. This was just kind of a generic spark plug wire set my farm store had. I had to cut them to length and put the ends on, no big deal. Works fine. I am using the original points from the 6 volt system. I'm not going to take that off to show you because it doesn't really matter. But this is the original points running on the 12 volt ignition system. And this is a coil that does not need the external resistor. This wire just goes directly to, it actually goes to the volt gauge, and then from there to the ignition switch. But yeah, it was $25. I got this from a CarQuest Auto Parts, and I put it actually so that you can't see the part number. It's on the back, but I put it so that the bracket won't be rubbing on it. That way I'll be able to see it. But it was $25 for the resistorless coil. One less thing to go bad. I don't have to worry about buying a resistor. And it was actually cheaper than buying a separate coil and resistor as well. Yeah, it came out great. I think all told, I might have $250 into it. The battery was about $60. I didn't take the 6 volt battery out of here to take in for the core exchange, so it was about $60 for the battery or so. About $55 for the alternator. I bought a brand new remanufactured with a lifetime warranty from Advanced Auto Parts, and that was the biggest part of the challenge. The other thing is when I tried to do all the wiring myself, I wasn't paying attention, and I tried to wire it. Everything I looked at was ammeters, and I didn't pay close enough attention, and I tried to wire the voltmeter like the ammeter, but it doesn't work that way. The voltmeter needs it needs power from the ignition switch, otherwise it would be on all the time, and then it needs to be grounded. So I had it all wired up and tried to start it, and cranked fine but wouldn't start, and I couldn't figure out why. And it was late. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I just decided to give up on it, and had a buddy come over, and I figured out I probably knew, or I had a pretty good idea what I did wrong. And I had wired the ignition circuit on. So I still need to get this tied down, maybe rebuild that battery box, because it's pretty bad. It's halfway gone there. So the reason I went with this battery, it gave me a lot more room on top for the terminals. The 6-volt battery is about this much taller. So just to give myself room to work in there with the battery cables, and considering that's the gas tank right there, I just felt safer getting the shorter battery, and as you heard, it starts just fine. Now that wasn't cold. I had it run, and I had to move it from my garage and put it back in the old barn here, my old carriage barn. So I'm gonna turn it around and put it in here, and leave it here probably till next time it snows. This is a week after we had 13 inches of snow. This is Saturday after Thanksgiving. 1 week ago we had 13 inches of snow on the ground here, and now you wouldn't even know it in southern Wisconsin. So like they say, if you don't like the weather, stick around a week, it'll change. Sure enough, did. So have a nice night.